Names of the salts. In this topic, we are going to look at how to name the salt, okay, based on the chemicals that react together to produce the salt. How do we name the salt? And how the name of the salt is derived from whatever the reactants that are reacting together to produce the salt. And then we're going to identify the cations and the anions found in the salts. So these are the three things that we're going to look at. When acids react with other substances, okay, salts are always formed. Like for example, if an acid reacts with a metal, you're going to get a salt and hydrogen gas. So salt is one of the product. If let's say a metal reacts with a base, so we're going to get a salt and water. So salt is one of the product. Or similarly, when acids react with the metal carbonates, we're going to get salt, water and carbon dioxide. So once again, there will be a salt form. So we need to know how to identify the name of the salt, and that's why this topic is important. So when I say salt, salt always contains two words in their names. Okay, so there will be a first word and a second word. The first word in the name of a salt is the name of a metal or a cation. Okay, a metal ion or a cation, like sodium, potassium, rubidium, lithium, calcium, magnesium, or ammonium. In this case, it's a cation, but it's not a metallic ion. It's a positive ion. Okay, usually the name of a metal ion. And the second word in the name of the salt is the name of the anions that is found in the acid. Okay, so the second word comes from the acid. Okay, the anion found in the acid, and that would give us what's the name of the salt. So the first word, the metal ion, is found in the substance that is reacted with the acid. Okay, the metal part of the substance. Like for example, if I say sodium hydroxide reacted with some acid, so the first word is going to be just sodium. Okay, so sodium followed by the second word that of course would be derived from the anion that is found in the acid that is reacted together with the sodium hydroxide. But right now we are looking at what is the first word. So in the word sodium hydroxide, sodium is the name of the metal ion. So for the salt, we will use the word sodium as the first word. The second word is the name of the anion found in the acid. For example, if I say hydrogen sulfate, so the anion found in the hydrogen sulfate, which is basically sulfuric acid, is of course sulfate. So the second word in the name of the salt is going to be sulfate. So the name of the salt when sodium hydroxide and hydrogen sulfate reacts together is going to be sodium sulfate. Let's look at some further example. If let's say with the hydrogen sulfate, okay, instead if I have used zinc carbonate, so the metal part of the zinc carbonate is zinc, right? So the name of the salt would be zinc sulfate. How about if we used copper oxide? The name of the metal found in copper oxide is copper. So the name of the salt would become copper sulfate is the name of the salt. How about if we use potassium metal with hydrogen sulfate? The name of the salt would begin with the word potassium, so it will be potassium sulfate. By the way, this is just for theory purpose. Potassium should never be allowed to react with hydrogen sulfate because it would result in an explosion. So, but just to understand what is the name of the salt or how we write the name of the salt, I've given this example. So if I were to take calcium hydroxide and react with hydrogen sulfate, the name of the salt would begin with the word calcium, and then the anion found in hydrogen sulfate is of course sulfate. So the name of the salt would be calcium sulfate. How about if I use magnesium oxide? Magnesium is the name of the metal ion, so it would become magnesium sulfate. Okay, let's say we keep the magnesium oxide as it is, but instead of using hydrogen sulfate now, let's say we switch over to hydrogen chloride, which is basically hydrochloric acid. The name of the anion found in hydrogen chloride is chloride, and of course the second word, okay, when magnesium oxide reacts with hydrogen chloride is going to be chloride. So the name of the salt will therefore be magnesium chloride. How about if I use hydrogen sulfite? the second word would be derived from the acid. So the anion in hydrogen sulfide is of course sulfite. Therefore, the name of the salt would be magnesium sulfite. How about if I use hydrogen ethanoate? So the salt form would be magnesium ethanoate. If I change it to hydrogen bromide, so the name of the salt form would be magnesium bromide. So of course the second word in the name of the salt would be derived from the acid used. Okay, but if it is given using traditional names like hydrochloric acid, so the name of the anion found in hydrochloric acid is of course chloride. Therefore, the name of the salt would be magnesium chloride. Let's look at another example. If let's say if I say sulfuric acid is used with magnesium oxide, sulfuric acid is also known as hydrogen sulfate. So the anion found in sulfuric acid is sulfate. So the name of the salt form would be magnesium sulfate. So that is going to be the name of the salt form. How about if I use sulfurous acid? The name of the anion in sulfurous acid is sulfite. So the salt would be magnesium sulfite. Nitrous acid would end up giving us the nitrite. So magnesium nitrite would be the name of the salt. If I use nitric acid, I'm going to get magnesium nitrate as a salt. So remember, the second word is the name of the anion found in the acid. Okay, and that's how you write the name of the salts. Hope this lesson was useful to you. Till I see you next time, have a nice day.